Welcome! These are horse racing selections for Saturday the 23rd of December. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Alright, last vid before the little mini Christmas break. So, got a little bit of racing on Saturday. Quality is there in places, field sizes definitely not. So for the channel staking plan, I've gone a little bit different with kind of how I've structured some of the bets, but £10 we are going half stake on Saturday. So yeah, originally that's on Wednesday. That's kind of what I was thinking. Wednesday, Friday bigger, Thursday, Saturday quiet, and that is how it has come to pass. So on Saturday, yeah, £10. It's two bets. I've got a win bet. And I've got an each-way combination bet across three races. So I haven't even managed to get an each-way Yankee on for Saturday. And the majority of the races are Ascot, and the majority, I think, so yeah, Ascot, and so I've got something in all four races at Ascot on the television, on ITV, if anyone's got ITV. And then I've got one other horse at Haydock that's not on the television. And that is it. I've got nothing at Newcastle and nothing at Lingfield. So that is coming at you. So we've got to do the review of Friday, which went well. So we'll do the review of that. We'll mention the darts, and then we've got the tips of the league. And importantly, we've got two more Saturdays before the end of the year for the tips of the league. So as I've said on previous, I've said it once, I think. What we will do for the tips of the league is we will round up. So we will crown a 2023 champion after the next two Saturdays, and then we will reset the scores. So I will keep a kind of an all-time list, but I won't refer to it on a regular basis. What we all can do is we'll start from scratch for 2023, and so therefore we'll go to monthly winners and the 2023 winner. Not sure, I'll be hands up, I'm not sure how long we'll carry on the tips league in 2023, because it depends on kind of the future of the channel and all that kind of stuff. As I will often say to you, I will not be here forever. I'm never making any false promises here, so I never guarantee you a profit, and I'll never say I'll be here forever. So I shall be here as long as my life allows, Mrs. FC allows, and yeah, and that kind of, yeah, and as much and yeah, I need to be enjoying it as well, which I do the vast majority of the time. So yeah, I'm not planning that we'll have a full year in 2024. That's what I'm giving you an early signal for. All right. Oh, what's me with them noises? I do them because someone keeps picking up I'm doing their noises like that dude from Police Academy. Completely involuntary. Just yeah, makes all sorts of strange noises. Anywho, what was I saying? We've got to go. Oh yeah, we've got 3-day Christmas break coming up. So as in 3-day video break, 2-day racing break. So no videos from me and after this one until Boxing Day, probably mid-morning, I would think. Boxing Day mid-morning. And for those of you uninitiated or newer to the racing game, Boxing Day is traditionally one of the busiest days of the whole entire year. Good quality and volume, so you're combining it all together. So you're going to absolutely guarantee for the channel. I would be shocked if we haven't got a £40 plan. So it would 100% likely, say 100% likely, almost guaranteed. Basically what I'm saying is it would be very, very surprising if it's not £40 on Boxing Day. But then it's probably likely to be £40 on the 27th double stake, and then the 28th, 29th with Leopardstown Limerick, we'll be having a reasonable stab at those. So I wouldn't be surprised if next week, so average at the moment for a week, sort of between, it's been about 65, 95, something like that range. I'm imagining next week the staking might get around the £200 mark. So fortunately, we've had a nice little go on Friday. But yeah, I'm just giving you a heads up that next week, I've trailed it quite a few times. It was a busy week for the channel. Last year, we hit a cracker on the first day, and then it was a bit dross after that. So we made profit for the week. And then I seem to remember New Year's Eve had an awful. I went racing. I went to Newbury on New Year's Eve, watched the racing last year and had a terrible time of it until the last two races, maybe definitely the last race of the year. It was a bumper in Ireland or something like that, a massive price, but nothing to go with it. Anyway, I digress. So we'll do the review, we'll do the bets, mention the darts, and we'll do the tips of the league. That's the plan. So Friday. I haven't got it written down. Have I? I did it. It was all on the typing McTypersons in the comments. So let me run it through. Let me pull up the stats off my phone. So Friday the 22nd. So we had two nice bets. One particularly nice bet. Prices will vary, and I'm very aware of that. We had 4 winners, so that's an important thing to note. So we had 10 races in the end. We had a non-runner, so 10 races, 13 selections. I mustered up 4 winners. Channel had the prizes at 22s, 18s, 10s, 13 to 2. They were backed in to 10s, 8s, 8s, and 4s, I think. So all backed in, and a couple of the South Wales ones particularly were heavy backed in, and even the one placed horse in addition to that at South Wales was backed in as well. So anyone on SP prices wouldn't get even half of what the channel return has been, unfortunately. So it paid to be on early. And then the interesting thing as well is when you put the bet on, I know a lot of people use Bet365 and they were a favoured bookie, but they weren't favoured on price terms. So anyone putting them on after upload but elsewhere would have done a bit better. So for instance, so Fieldsman for the channel was 22s. Would have done, so 365 wouldn't have not done as well. So Fieldsman 22s was broad price at the point of doing the video, but 365 are only 16s. Red Wolves 18 in a few places. It was about 16s on 365. So there will be kind of winners and losers. Well, hopefully everybody's a winner, but other people win more. And often it's the case that 365 are favoured, but I think they probably were slightly disadvantageous, but clearly better than getting SP. Anyway, I'm wittering on. So the bet one was South Wales. We started off the South Wales split leg at Yankee. Red Wolves, great winner, went from the front and just stayed there and held on. Then we had a disappointment with leg 2, Animato. The third leg was the split leg, and we had 4th and 6th. So 4th paid out for quite a few bookies, but not all, King of York. And then the last leg, Fieldsman. I'm delighted with that one, I really am, because I had a little bit of a debate about it. And I think it was one of those ones where it was about 10 to 1, and then it the night before, and then it drifted in the morning out, and I thought, right, I think I'll get on it now. So I wouldn't have backed it at 10s, which I think what it was about the night before. Getting on at 22s. Unfortunately, I was really, really busy on Friday morning. So personally, I didn't. I placed a channel bet with a bookmaker, so I always, so those of you who've been around a long time know, obviously it was all done through a Sky Bet account. Just out of practice, I always place the channel bet somewhere to the exact channel stake, right, which doesn't reflect my own personal betting. I put all the channel stake down. Personally, I didn't have time, so I didn't go and put a chunk on Fieldsman at 22s, which is a little bit upsetting, but there we go. With Fieldsman, it's a horse we've backed many times on the channel, and I thought it was a really interesting angle, which I didn't go through any of this stuff this morning, clearly, but there was a jockey on it called John Doughty, or Doty, who no one will ever have heard of, right? So I've said so many times, and I will keep saying it to you, because I had to teach myself this lesson. It took me a really long. I understood value. I couldn't teach myself this lesson until really a few years ago. If the only thing you don't like about the horse is the jockey, that ain't good enough. So if you look at the bare interest on Fieldsman there, John Doherty, he'd only ever ridden twice. £7 claimer he was. Only ridden twice, both times for Tony Carroll. And one was, he was tailed off last, and the other one was like mid-division, right? So no kind of real experience. So that would technically be a negative to most people, which pushed the price up, I think, at some point. But what I looked at with that is, yes, he's really inexperienced, right? But often you'll find inexperienced jockeys normally ply their trade in condition events and whatnot. Here, we're chucking a £7 claimer on a very, very experienced horse, so horse should know how to handle itself. uh, and on a horse that's down to a competitive handicap mark, and you're going to take 7 off, and you've got Tony Carroll, who's a bit of a shrewdie with picking up a conditional jockey, and I think that's what he's done here. And so, although on paper the guy had not a lot of experience, he clearly is a decent enough horseman to have steered that horse. Now, also what you've got there is you've got a horse that's going from the front, so fair play to the jockey, because he had to get the fractions right to keep the pace right to actually stay there the whole way. But yeah, front running was a bit of a story of our day. So that was a really nice return. So we had a place treble with a win double on one of the split Yankees and a win double on the other, with singles on Red Wolves and Fieldsman, and a place single on King of York. So really, really nice return all round. Then we had bet two. We had 2 risky jumpers, and one was not very good, and the other one was absolutely atrocious. Then we had the combo double. We had a place at Southwell, and then the Dundalk race got completely wrong on that one. And then the final bet was bet 4, was the Canadian at Dundalk. We had Little Keeley that went from the front. Kadash fell out the back early doors. That was poor. Ciao Adios wasn't any good. We had a non-runner, and then Freescape. 2 of them went off early doors, and I thought, it's 50-50 here. We're either winning this or we're going to finish down the field, because I knew the horse had enough ability, but they'd go off very, very fast. But he managed to stay at the front and get there. So we had 4 horses and who basically ran in the front 2 the whole way through. So really, really nice stuff to get a place. So a win double with a non-runner on the Canadian. To add another, and plus the single on Freescape, add another 25 quid. So the channel had it as, so it's hard to do this when I haven't got the papers in my head, so I apologise if this doesn't come across very well on a video. But we had 23.50 on, 158.31 back, a profit of 134.81. Interestingly, that's two times we've done it, 2 years we've been doing the channel. Both times the last Friday's racing before the Christmas break. So the dates are a little bit different last year, but the last Friday before the Christmas break, we managed to turn over a nice profit. And as Rob's pointed out in the comments, we've done that both years now. And the 6-7 weeks building up to Christmas, managed to put together a nice pot going into Christmas. I'd love to be able to say I planned it. Did not plan it. You can't plan these things, but what I can say to you is, and what you can clearly see evidence of, that we are rocking this winter with the all weather. So we had some nice bits last year. We had some big wins September, October, with 3 horses in the lucky 15s, and then we had a few nice doubles in December, and then again we've had days where it's not going so well, but what I know from the data that I collect is I know where the tracks I do well and where I don't, right? So I have a particular type of strategy, and obviously I pick horses for all sorts of different reasons. But what I know is that certain things I do have a little bit of track bias to them. And I appreciate not everyone's got the time to do it, right? But it pays to keep statistics on these things. So this week I went back through and I had a little look at the all-weather performance since the beginning of October, and what I found is, prior to this week, frame strike rate was just a touch over 50% at Kempton and at Newcastle, and we were talking around the 40% mark for Southwell and Dundalk, a little bit less than that at Chelmsford. They're the 5 tracks that I absolutely favour on the all-weather. I always say I don't like Wolverhampton. I don't really say much about Lingfield, but basically Lingfield might as well be Wolverhampton. So I had a little, when I looked at all the stats at the beginning of this week for the all-weather, it was really, really helpful, because I knew we'd had a nice little run since the beginning of October on the all-weather. But to see the 50% frame right, so that's basically, I think, something like 30. I don't know the exact numbers. I'll get it on another video, but something like 34 horses at Kempton and more than 17 had hit the frame. So either in the places or won the races, and the same at Newcastle. Dundalk, we'd have a much higher volume of horses, and I always say Dundalk is hero or zero, as you know. But I think I tracked it at 42% frame. So although we've had days at Dundalk where we've had complete wipeouts, we've had days where we've had nice ones. So so that you keep the stats, and it's not about have I got a favour on the all-weather? It's certain tracks on the all-weather. Lingford and Wolverhampton, I don't read them the same I read the other ones. For whatever reason, whether it's that or whether it's just because at those tracks you get more low-quality racing, whether you get more hard luck stories because the getting around the bend and not going too wide is more significant. With Dundalk, the bend, it doesn't matter so much about how you come off the bend. Sometimes you swing off the bend and get momentum. The same thing happens at Kempton. Same thing can happen at Southwell and Chelmsford. Newcastle, often we're talking about a straight track, so you've got a fairer track in some regards because you haven't got. I know we talked about Newcastle track bias that was present for about a week, but generally speaking, you've got a fairer track. Anyway, what I'm saying is, keep stats, right? Keep the stats, and then you can actually look and go back and check stuff. So when at the start of this week, this is a very rambly story. Sorry, I didn't mean it to be. When I went, basically, I looked at and I was like, right, I need to tighten up what I'm doing at Lingfield and Wolverhampton, and that's why, despite the fact we've had those meetings on this week, you haven't seen as many selections. I didn't do anything at Wolverhampton on Friday, and with the other ones, I was like, right, okay, I need to look at certain angles on those tracks that are working and certain ones that are not. So yeah, sort of I kind of tightened up. So without, I'm not going to bore people with the data and with everything. I know some people like it, but most it goes out. It's too much, and I try really really hard on this channel to pitch stuff at a level where most people can understand what I'm saying. So there's lots and lots of things that a tiny minority would understand or are interested in, and I just avoid some of the maths and stuff involved in it. I know there's people who think I just chuck darts at these things. You can look at the results and you can still think I chuck darts at these things. You try chucking darts and doing the types of bets I do. See if you won't make any money or not, right? There's a lot of data that goes behind it. I just choose not to go into so much detail every time with what I'm doing. Anyway, so good day, and that puts us back ahead in December. So we started December well off the first couple of days, then it's been going downhill, back up again. So I think we're sat 105 up for the week, 97 up for the month, and we've got 6 days to play with. So we've got a small stake £10 on Saturday, and then we've got the big week next week. So we're hoping that we don't have an absolute nightmare next week, and we can finish the month still up. So we've got a £97 cushion to play with. If it all goes badly on Saturday, that'll be 87. All right. I think that's me rambliness. Darts, Chris Dobie won his match tonight, so it's another one safely through to the next round. So we've still got 3 in there in the top quarters bets rolling on. Okay, 18 minutes in. Shall I get on to Saturday's bet? I'm sorry, do you know what? I really thought this was going to be a short video, and then I've just whittered on about stuff, which I know there's a percentage of people who like it. I'm sure I'll get somebody who'll tell me off and say, get on with the bets. I can't believe it takes so long to get these tips. Do you know what? Fast forward exists. That's a thing. You could just fast forward and wait till I hold up the paper. Look, I've hold up the paper. Have you paused it at the right time? Now have you got it? Right, anyway, here we go. Clearly I've gone delusional this week. Bet one, right, so I've got an interesting type of win bet in the way I've done it slightly differently. So 3 horses, 150 Ascot, Cap du Mathan, 11-4 favourite roughly it is at the moment. I would definitely have that much shorter than that in that race. I know people will be favouring Triple Trade, but I think Cap du Mathan's the right horse to be favourite, and I would have it much shorter than that. So I wanted to put it in 225, key horse really for the staking plan because I've put it in both bets. Paisley Park. It's a veteran. I have a bit of a soft spot for Paisley Park. Clearly, I think I've backed it a number of times on the channel. I think it's a really, really interesting race for that 225. I would have West Balboa the slight favourite on progressiveness. But I just think Paisley Park and Champ between them, absolute quality horses. They might be 11 years old, but they can still muster up a good bit of a battle and a bit of a fight. And I actually think when you look through some of them younger horses, there's no superstars in there. I don't think. I think West Balboa could be a much better horse than even what we've seen so far. But I'm going to side with the aging horse Paisley Park to go for a battle for a frame place. For this bet winning. 2:40 then Haydock. The only one I've got today not on the TV is a 4-runner race, Nettywell 5-2. I honestly think that horse should be near about even money. I don't know whether with the market moves. Say sometimes I know I can see these things and I'm like, no, the market's got it wrong. But yeah, I'd have it near even money. Doesn't mean it's going to win. But what I'm saying is I would have it a more of a 50-50 chance of winning than a 5-2 chance of winning. So what I've done is I've half staked a normal Trixie because I put Paisley Park in another bet. So it's a 25p win Trixie. So that's £1. So it's doubles and trebles. And then a £1 win double on the shorter ones, Cap du Mathan and Nettywell. So that is £2 and you want a bog bookie. That is that. I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but you've got choices, right? Free will exists in this land. Bet 2. This is the main bet for the day. So we've got the 225. We've got Paisley Park in there. Sevens. The 3 o'clock. We've got 2 switch hitter 16s. That is on paper the nickel second string. Larry at 12s, which we've taken a number of times. 3.35 Ascot. We were on it when it won at Cheltenham. Favois 22s. I think that's a really, really good price. I mean, I know it's the biggest price I've got, but hands down, that's value. Should be looking at least 12s, I think. I would back it at 12s, actually. So, I would back it at 12. So maybe we're talking more. I think it should be 10s, 11s. And then Lucia 7-1, which 7-1, third favourite. It's not third favourite, but it's the Henderson third string. Paul O'Brien's on it. But yeah, interesting. He's got three in the race. I'm hoping he runs them all. He does have a tendency to pull them out when he's not quite happy with the ground. So I'll go through the bet and then I'll explain bookie advice, because bookie advice is very important for this bet. So it's 8 times 25p each way double. So if you put all 5 of those in the bet slip, you'll have 8 combinations of double and 4 combination of treble. So it's 8 times 25p each way doubles, 4 times 25p each way trebles. That's £6 in total. And then we've got 50p each way singles on Switch Hitter and Favois, the 2 bigger prices. There is no single on Paisley Park, Larry or Lucia. So it's an £8 bet in total. Now, what you've got here is you've got three bookmakers currently, unless there's any non-runners, paying 4 places in the 225 Ascot. That is Sky, Hills and AAA. I don't know, because I haven't been in a Hills shop, whether Hills are honouring that in shop. I'd like to believe they are. But Sky, Hills and 888 are 4 places on that long walk hurdle, 225. You've then got 7 bookies of the major bookies paying 4 on both these 3. So that they're 10-11 runner handicaps. We don't really want any non-runners because they're much more likely to knock it down to 3. But really favourable terms. So Sky, Hills, 888, same as that one. But you've also then got 365 and Paddy and Betfair and Betfred. So my absolute advice is, if the place terms don't change, you want one of those 7 bookmakers to put your bet on. Interesting, last couple of days, Betway, who I often mention, have not been as good for place terms. So they weren't as good on Friday, and again, same is the case on Saturday. And nor Unibet, actually. I've not mentioned Unibet today. So those 2 are often in the mentions, but not for Saturday. So Sky, Hills, 888 at best, 365 Paddy, joint next best, and then Betfair or Betfred. That is my betting plan for Saturday. I'm not sure some of those prices. I mean, I think I was going to say, actually, often on a Saturday that you get a little bit more price drifting for some of my stuff because the markets are more established by the time I do the betting. But actually, Friday night I'm doing this video, and some of those prices I see them really being shorter. So that is the plan. And then tips to league. We've got 2 tips to leagues to go. So you've got 2 more chances to boost up the leaderboard and see if you can knock any of the top 10 that have been pretty similar for a while now. There is only 6 races on the television, 4 at Ascot, so it's the last 4 in a row at Ascot, and then it's 2 at Haydock, just 2. It's the 1:30 and the 2:05. At Ascot, it's the 150, the 225, the 3 o'clock, and the 3:35. Those are the only 6 races you can use for the Tipster League. Maximum of 3 selections. 10 point is your staking plan. No multiples, no decimal points. Please reply to the tipster comment on this video. Reply to the comment, not reply to the video, reply to the comment about Tipster League to enter. Don't edit it. If you edit it, it will be voided. So you'll need to, if you want to change it before 2 o'clock, which is the deadline, bear in mind 2 of the 6 races happen before 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is the deadline to submit your entries. I think that is it. Oh, and also really importantly, because Stephen's voice is in my head as well, it really, really helps for us to do in the stats if you can write it in the way that we ask you to write it in the tipster comment, which is basically the time, the meeting, the horse, the stake. Time, meeting, horse, stake. That is what you need. Time, meeting, horse, stake. We're pretty smart people at times, but we're not savants, and we can't necessarily just imagine what stake you might want to put on, so that won't count. Likewise, it's just a bit of a pain when you have to start going, like, searching for where the horse ran and what it was. So it's fine. It's Haydock and Ascot, so you can write H and A. So you literally write the time, H or A, and then the horse, and then your stake, and make sure you specify whether it is win or each way. That would be really, really helpful. Saves us lots of time when churning up the figures. Okay, I think that's it. That was a lot longer than I planned. Hopefully some of my chuntering was useful. And yeah, I'll we'll see if Terry's done it, because Terry was helpful for Southwell, wasn't he? And then Terry's friend, the Irish friend, who looks almost identical to Terry, but just has an Irish accent. He helped me out in Dundalk as well, so the Irish source, he was good. So now Irish Horse is on holiday now till Boxing Day. He'll be back for Limerick and Leopardstown. So we just left it for Terry really for Ascot. So hopefully Terry's got connections and stuff in the yards at Ascot, and he knows stuff, because I mean, I don't know anything. Just Terry just tells me what to do. All right. Thanks very much. That's me. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely Christmas. Whoever you're doing anything with. Eat nice food, drink nice drink that you like, treat yourself, watch some fun stuff that you like on the television, put your feet up, don't get too much sort of like the jitters from the fact there's no horse racing for 2 days, because it will be big, busy and bonanza-y next week. All right, thank you very much. See you on the other side. Merry Christmas.